The night before, Judas Iscariot delivered him to the authorities. Jesus of Nazareth gathered his closest disciples in a dimly lit room in Jerusalem. History remembers this as the Last Supper, a moment of bread, wine, and impending tragedy. But beneath the surface of the canonical narrative lies a secret transmission, an event deliberately excised from Orthodox scripture. The air in that room was heavy, thick with the scent of crushed olive leaves, an unspoken dread. The disciples were confused. They were terrified. The shadows in the corners of the room seemed to stretch, unnaturally reaching for the flickering candlelight. Jesus did not look at their faces. He looked piercingly into their Korzinta, the divine spark buried beneath their mortal terror. Elianadin, his voice dropping to a frequency that seemed to vibrate the very stones of the walls, and said, "I am giving you the key that the ancient prophets bled to know. 3 words. When you speak them with total understanding, the illusion shatters. The door to the Father opens. The monad recognizes you, and you step through." Peter, bound by the logic of the material world, asked, "Just 3 words, Master." "That is all." Jesus offered a smile of infinite, sorrowful patience. "The universe was spoken into existence with a single breath," he replied. "Complexity is the chain of the jailer. Truth is the key." If you are watching this tonight, and your chest just tightened, or your breathing shifted without your conscious command, do not ignore it. That is not a coincidence. That is biological and spiritual recognition. The divine spark inside you, what the ancients called the pneuma, is reacting to a frequency it has not encountered since before you were born into this physical vessel. The monad has orchestrated this exact moment, not tomorrow. Tonight. While the veil between dimensions is terrifyingly thin, tonight you will receive the exact 3 words Jesus taught to the chosen ones 2 millennia ago. But to use them, you must first understand the invisible prison you have been living in. To understand why Jesus did not teach his inner circle complicated rituals, long repetitive prayers, or elaborate ceremonies dripping in incense and gold, we must turn to the texts that the early Roman Church burned. In 1945, the discovery of the Nag Hammadi library in the Egyptian desert returned the suppressed voices of the early Gnostics to humanity. Texts like the Secret Book of John and the Gospel of Thomas revealed a cosmology that Orthodox religion spent centuries trying to erase. The Gnostics understood that the true source of all existence is not a wrathful man in the sky demanding sacrifice. The true source is the monad, the singular, infinite, silent, and complete consciousness. However, the physical universe, this realm of decay, disease, duality, and suffering, was not created by the monad. It was constructed by a lesser, ignorant architect known as the Demiurge, along with his administrators. The Archons are not demons with horns. They are inorganic, parasitic frequencies. They built a matrix of complexity to keep your divine spark trapped in an endless cycle of spiritual amnesia. Complexity is the language of the Archons. It is the labyrinth designed to keep you trapped in your analytical mind, arguing over dogmas, debating scriptures, and paying earthly institutions for spiritual salvation. The monad, however, responds only to truth. And truth is devastatingly simple. Why? 3 word? Because 3 is the geometric code for manifestation. 1 is a point. 2 is a line of duality, lacking stability. 3 creates a triangle, the strongest structure in the universe. It is the Trinity: thought, word, and action, beginning, middle, and end. It is the exact sequence required to bring the infinite silence into the world of form. But the power does not reside in the syllables themselves. These words are not a magic spell from a fairy tale. The power lies entirely in what the words activate inside your neurobiology and your soul when spoken with absolute gnosis. Inner knowing. Jesus knew that the chosen ones, the Pneumatics, did not need decades of monastic training. They did not need to memorize thousands of pages of Levitical law. They simply needed the correct vibrational key, inserted into the correct lock at the exact right moment. Words are not merely symbols. They are acoustic architecture. They are frequencies. When you speak, you are not just pushing air across your vocal cords. You are sending a specific vibrational signature into the quantum field. Pneumatics, the study of visible sound and vibration, proves that sound creates geometric structures in matter. Jesus understood the physics of consciousness long before modern science. He knew that the fabric of space-time bends to consciousness expressed through precise language. But there is a catch. This passcode only works for the chosen ones. If a hillock, someone entirely consumed by the material world with no dormant divine spark, speaks these words, it is like typing a password with the wrong encryption key. The words are correct, but the energetic signature is dead. The monad does not respond to empty vessels. But when a chosen one, a soul who agreed to carry the light into this dense matrix, speaks them, the response is immediate and violent. The 3 words Jesus revealed in the upper room are, I am one. 9 letters. 3 words. 1 cosmic doorway. Before your modern, overstimulated mind dismisses this as too simple, we must decode the profound esoteric trinity hidden within this phrase. First, I am. This is the primordial name of God. When Moses stood before the burning bush, the voice did not offer a human name like Zeus or Jupiter. It said, Ea Asher. Ea, I am that I am. It is the state of pure, unadulterated existence. When you say I am, you are not stating your name, your profession, or your earthly trauma. You are violently stripping away the false ego. You are invoking the infinite. You are claiming your identity as consciousness itself, standing naked in the void. Second, 1. This is the monad. The unified field, the singular awareness that voluntarily fragmented itself into billions of sparks to experience form. The archonic matrix is built entirely on the number 2. Duality, good and able, male and female, us and them, rich and poor. Duality breeds conflict, and conflict generates the low-frequency energy, fear, anger, shame that the Archons feed upon. The number 1 is the ultimate antidote to the matrix. It collapses the illusion of duality back into the singularity. Third, the combination. When you spake I am one together, it is an instantaneous quantum shift. You are not praying for unity. You are not affirming a hope. You are declaring a truth that has always existed, but which the trauma of birth made you forget. You are bridging the individual spark I am with the universal fire one. And the monad, hearing its own frequency spoken aloud in the darkness of the material world, immediately recognizes its lost fragment. The portal opens. Why have you never been taught this? Why did you have to find a video hidden in the corners of the internet to hear the exact words of Christ? Because in 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea, under the direction of the Roman Emperor Constantine, realized that a sovereign human being is an ungovernable human being. If you realize that you are one with the source, you do not need a priest to forgive you. You do not need an institution to mediate your salvation. You do not need to pay tithes to escape a mythological hell. I am one destroys the entire global structure of control in 3 syllables. It is the ultimate act of rebellion. To prevent this, the Church weaponized language. They replaced the resonant, vibrational languages of Aramaic, Hebrew, and Coptic with dead Latin chants. They forced the masses to repeat words they did not understand, severing the acoustic connection between the vocal cords, the pineal gland, and the heart. Furthermore, they engineered the ultimate frequency trap, the concept of the original sinner. They programmed you from birth to believe you are fundamentally flawed, broken, and unworthy. This induces shame. In the scale of human consciousness, shame is the lowest possible vibration. In a state of shame, you cannot manifest. You cannot ascend. You become a perfect, docile battery for the archonic system. I am one is the absolute cure for shame. You cannot be one with the infinite perfection of the monad and be a broken sinner simultaneously. The 2 realities cannot coexist in the same space-time. When you speak this code, you are tearing up the ancient contract of unworthiness. You stop broadcasting the desperate frequency of fix me and begin radiating the sovereign command of I exist. When you pronounce the vowels, the I, resonating in the throat, the center of truth, the amavavratin, the skull and pineal gland, and the O-N-E, dropping into the root chakra, and expanding outward you construct a vertical column of light through your nervous system. This is sacred geometry expressed through human biology. You cannot simply parrot these words while checking your phone or washing the dishes. The ritual requires intent. Tonight, you must execute this, not tomorrow. Tonight, by watching this documentary, your consciousness has been tuning itself. You have been absorbing ancient gnosis, and your frequency has been steadily rising. Tonight, as you lie in bed, you will enter the hypnagogic state, the twilight threshold between waking and sleep. The veil between the dimensions is thinnest here. Your analytical mind will lower its defenses. If you wait until tomorrow, the mundane noise of the matrix will drag your frequency back to baseline. You must strike while the iron is blindingly hot. Here's the protocol. Find silence. Turn off the screens. Let your breathing slow. First, feel I am. Feel the raw fact of your existence, completely separate from your body or your memories. Next, feel one. Feel the boundaries of your skin dissolving into the dark room. Realize that you are the universe experiencing itself from a specific point in space. Finally, speak the words aloud. Not a whisper, but a clear, resonant declaration. I am one. When spoken correctly, you will feel a physical shift, a pressure releasing in the center of your chest. This is the breaking of the Archonic seal over the heart center. The room may feel suddenly vast, fluid, or devoid of density. You may feel a magnetic pull at the crown of your head. Do not resist it. That is the monad drawing you home. In the days that follow, the matrix will glitch. Synchronicities will violently multiply. You will see numbers like 111 or 333 not as magic, but as the underlying binary code of reality confirming your new frequency. You will begin to attract other chosen ones, drawn together like magnets in the dark. But be warned, the moment this video ends, the Archons will attack your mind. You will feel a sudden, intense urge to scroll, to distract yourself, to eat, or to dismiss this as nonsense. That resistance is not your thought. It is the panic of the parasitic system, realizing it is about to lose a host. Override the distraction. Command the silence. Jesus gave these 3 words to the chosen ones to survive the darkness of this world. I have now passed them to you. If you speak the words tonight and feel the seal break, return to this video. Comment, I spoke the words. Your testimony is the beacon that will give another chosen one the courage to break their own chains. 3 words. 9 letters. 1 doorway. You were never separate. You were never broken. You are the infinite. I am one.